Hi, I'm Alec from EasierHabits.com, and I help work-from-home dads design and build their ideal life, a life they're proud to model for and share with their kids. So the last couple of weeks I've been talking about habits, how to tap into your identity, a strong identity, not a weak identity for you, to build a habit, build the motivation to change and create a habit, and also how to craft a habit so that it is addictive, so that it is a giving habit. It gives you more than it takes, a short habit that gives you hours of tangible benefit. And the reason I am so excited about habits is because habits are what build up big life changes. There are no big things in life. Everything in life is made up of smaller things, and that's true with career changes, going back to school, starting a family. All of this stuff is really the result of your daily work and then the opportunities that arise out of that daily work. And while those sometimes seem like miraculous big opportunities, they're opportunities that only come if you put in the daily habits, the daily practice. I want to share with you one of the big changes that happened in my life, quitting my coding job in California and moving with my family to the remote mountains of Japan so my wife could run a school there, an English immersion school, and I could be the primary caretaker of our kids and try to be an entrepreneur. Now that may seem like a huge change, and at the very end, there were some big changes. That moving was a big project, but that was also really the culmination of years and years of habits and the opportunities that come out of pursuing a habit every day. So fast forward a few years, I've graduated, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. And I developed a habit of going out to interviews regularly, failing them, and then studying what I have failed, trying to get into coding. Now this is the 2008 recession, so there's nobody who's really looking for an English major, trying to become a coder, trying to get their first time job. But eventually I fail enough interviews that I can get internships, and eventually I get enough internships to get a job. It took me about a year and a half. So that was a lot of work before finding the right opportunities to open that career up for me. And at the same time, I'm also thinking about potentially starting a family. And nothing's really working out for me. I'm not really hitting any long-term relationships or serious relationships. And during this time, while I'm trying out the career and dating thing, I take a step back and think, this isn't working for me. All right, what could I do differently? Well, if I wasn't limited to just the girls in my area, who would I choose to date? And it's about this time that I'm scrolling through Facebook and seeing that my future wife has gone back to school and is doing a graduate degree in English teaching and piloting an English teaching program in Japan. And I think that looks really cool. That's someone who is living their passion, following their dream, is not just sleepwalking through life, trying to find the easiest way to make it through. And that really caught my attention. So I started calling her. We called more often. Eventually, she invited me up to where she was, and we started dating long distance. And it was, again, that's something that arose out of a habit of calling someone, small steps. Eventually I did propose, and she invited me to join her and finish out school. I've been kind of interested in going back to school, so she's like, why don't you just quit your job that at this point you're not too into, come back to school and see if something catches your eye. So I go back to school, and I even remember the first summer after we were married, she went to Japan to pilot her program and I couldn't go. And I missed her a lot, and that was kind of a weird summer. But again, this is laying the groundwork for much later. Fast forward a couple more years, I graduate college. I am still actually a web developer. I studied instructional design, but it turns out being a web developer does pay a whole lot more than the instructional design gigs that I'm seeing. But I'm interested in web development companies that have some kind of educational bent. I actually go to LinkedIn right after college for a while because I like the idea that it's about helping people connect with the right jobs. And boy, I really wish I had that when I was starting out in my career. So I do that for a year, but our first kid is born. And at this point, I'm really realizing that LinkedIn has kind of standardized like a 50-hour and then some work week. I'm doing my regular job, and on top of that, I have like a passion project at the company where I'm working overtime to try and create a new feature that's built around education. And I'm realizing I'm investing a lot of time into my work. I wasn't quite seeing the results in terms of recognition or promotion that I was interested in, so I go ahead and find another job with a comparable salary, but one in an education-related company, so I don't need to volunteer my evenings to try and launch education-related projects at the company, and that gives me more family time. Now, I say this because this is me actually changing my routine, changing a work routine where I am focused more on doing more work and career advancement to where I'm focused more on flexibility and having time with my family. That's an important decision that sets up the next piece of our journey. The next piece of our journey being Meg this whole time has kept up volunteering for her English teaching program in Japan, and she hears that there's an opening where she could go work in the English immersion program at a school in Japan in the middle of nowhere. And it's at this point that after some time working at the previous job, a couple years, we realized this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that Meg has cultivated by keeping up with this program for several years, and we should take it. It's an opportunity for me to spend more time with our small kids, and it's also an opportunity for me to try to be an entrepreneur. And so we move to the mountains in Japan, and that was a big project in many regards, but of course all the pieces involved in moving aren't all that big. Throwing a garage sale to get rid of our stuff, finding someone to sell our car to, at least temporarily, so that we can buy it back when we get back from Japan, and all of those little features. There's a lot of those little things, but it was all little steps. And I like to pick out just a few things from that story that illustrate how regular habits help you change your life. So first of all, of course, I only got to Japan in the first place because I set up a daily routine to learn Japanese and be around other people who would be interested in going to Japan. I didn't even have a plan that I'm going to do this, take this class, and then go to Japan after my first year. I didn't know when I'd go to Japan. I just put myself in an environment where I would be regularly exposed to people interested in Japan and studied Japanese myself. And that opened that opportunity, and that also exposed me to interesting, passionate people like my wife, who have actually kept up with Japanese. I have not. But that ability to be around other smart, interested, motivating people, that's powerful. If you have a habit that you want to get off the ground, start thinking about not only how you can build that habit into your own life, but how you can be in an environment with other people who are doing interesting things around that type of habit. Other people who are interested in the same health exercise activities that you are, or the creative projects that you're interested in, or reach out to other people who are starting the type of business that you want to be in, or that are getting promoted to the types of jobs that you are in, right? It's the combination of daily activity and putting yourself in an environment conducive to that activity that opens up opportunities that you weren't planning for. After college, one of the interesting things I think Meg and I both realized is that part of the power of doing a habit, actually doing that thing that you think might get you the money you need, or that might be the next step in your life, actually regularly engaging it, sometimes you just realize it won't work out. That was true of my career where I was doing web development, but I didn't really scratch that instructional itch, that teaching itch that I have. And so I found out that even though I managed to get a coding job, it wasn't exactly a good fit. And that moment where you realize, hey, wait, I need to make a change, that's another one of the opportunities that comes when you're regularly engaging in something. If you're just sitting at home in your armchair and thinking, oh, it would be cool to be a writer, and you're never writing anything, you might not realize that you don't actually like writing novels. Right? You can fantasize about it, and it's nice and it's safe and it's comfy in that chair, but you're not either going to have success as a novelist or realize that that's not even what you want to do and be able to make a switch until you start regularly practicing whatever it is you think would be interesting, whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you're passionate about. That doesn't mean you have to make it your job, but it does mean you have to do something regularly to give yourself the opportunity to either move forward or recognize that you need to make a shift in your life. And the last part of the story that I want to highlight is there are also not only habits around schooling, education, and your career, but habits around family. In moving from LinkedIn to an ed tech company that was a little bit more flexible and gave me more family time, I was creating a habit of putting family first that allowed me to do all sorts of things with the family. Like I remember very fondly spending longer evenings with my 3-year-old while my wife was taking care of our 10-month-old before going to Japan, and all sorts of silly little things like balancing my 3-year-old on my knee while I did the dishes in the sink and he was playing in the water, right? Those types of habits were the habits that allowed me to really connect with my family and recognize an opportunity that would be excellent for my family to put them first, to try something new and crazy, even if it meant putting my career as I knew it on hold. If family is important to you, make sure that you build family habits into your day so that you can recognize the needs and opportunities around your family members. I had been crafting my life and making conscious decisions and figuring out how much does money mean to me? How much does coding mean to me? How much do these opportunities for my family mean to me? And in engaging in those habits and starting to put family first, that prepared me to be a stay-at-home dad for a while and kind of try to be an entrepreneur. Admittedly, that failed, and that was quite the learning experience. But again, it was a unique and wonderful experience in my life, and from the outside perspective, it's something that looks crazy, but I hope you've seen how a lot of small decisions and a lot of daily work eventually build up to these opportunities. Opportunities from other people inviting us to do things, or opportunities that we recognize where we want to make a pivot. We've tried something and we realized, hey, that dream I had, it's not everything I wanted to be. Maybe I need to make a switch. So if you're watching this video, take a moment and think about what things have you been putting on hold? What are you passionate about? What do you dream about? You don't really have to make a 6-month plan to make that happen necessarily if you can't see all the ways that it would happen. What you have to do if you want to make a big change in your life is just figure out what's the next step. What 10 or 15 minute habit will get me working in that area every day? Or what connections could I make? What environment would I meet other people who are interested in this habit that will open up opportunities for me? And if you do that consistently, then these big lightning bolt moments will definitely come. They just take time and they take consistency. If this video has helped you realize that some of your big dreams and big goals could be started with just a small habit, go ahead and hit the like button or subscribe. Or if you know anybody who's going through big life changes and having a hard go of it or feeling stuck in their life, go ahead and share this video so that they can help start building their ideal life one habit at a time. And of course, until next week, make big life changes one small habit at a time.